Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
What is going on, peeps? I am the Urban Franchise, Tony Montana, and I am joined by
the great Dr. Clone from Stu Clone.
and this is part 2 of our weekly Halloween special. As you guys knew, Dr. Clone is joining me for a few weeks out of this, and this is the second part of our 10-part countdown of universes you don't want to be in, and we're telling you how we would survive them. We're back again to give you the rest of that list. Dr. Clone, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright, Dr. Clone, the first place that we're going to be going to is in, we're going to go to a video countdown.
Now, boys and girls, now we all know this good place. But for those that were too scared to look at the screen, kindly tell the nice kids.
This is Into the Night. This is a Netflix series where people get on a regular flight. They're thinking they're just going home, but they end up in a scenario where they gotta avoid the sun.
Now you're probably wondering, why avoid the sun? Apparently, no scientist can explain it, but for some reason the sun is emitting rays that are so deadly that by simply being in the sunlight would kill you. And not just people. I mean everything. Plants, animals, organic materials, everything dead the moment sunlight touches it. So these people are desperately trying to stay in the air in a jet. But as you know, there's a problem with that. Jets can't stay in the air no longer than 12 hours max. They gotta refuel. And it's not like there's a lot of food on those. So they also have to look for food. It's a very, very stressful situation. And make matters worse, some of the passengers are old, others are injured, and there's a child that actually needs surgery. So that's a double jeopardy. A kid who needs surgery. Oh, and it doesn't help that there's someone who's very unhinged on the said plane too, adding more stress. That's the last thing you need. Now, how to deal with a situation like that? Well, there's only one thing for me to do, boys and girls.
No, before we jump into that, let me just explain this on the other side for you guys. This right now, we are in a situation where you're just thinking you're going on a vacation, you're just going home, you're returning from a vacation, and you end up in a scenario where you're stuck inside of a plane. Your life is completely inconvenienced. The world that you know is gone. And it is explained to you that everything, the country that you grew up in, the country where you lived, everything and everyone that came in contact with sunlight disintegrated and died. You are coming into a world where there is nothing for you. You are on this flight with a bunch of strangers. You're the last salvation for Earth. You're the last piece of survival for human society. Fight to live? Give up? There's so many different outcomes, and there's more people, is there not, throughout the show, who weigh on both sides.
Well, keep in mind how the sun works around the Earth. The sun doesn't go on the Earth in its entirety. It goes on Earth gradually over time in the day. So people across the world, some of them do have time to prepare or take shelter. It's just a matter of who you can save, or rather, who wants to be saved.
Now, my brother, Who are you going to pick? And I'm going to re-explain to you guys the rules of this before we jump into this. Now, we are going to be deciding what we love. This is not going to be realistic. This is in a fantasy world. We're both blurs. We are in the nerd fandom. We're going to give ourselves 3 options. The first option is anyone and anything. Any fictional character anywhere from anywhere. Any made up thing, even if it's something that we made up ourselves, as long as we can explain the details of it and there's a beat of lore to it, it makes sense. But that's just like the easy one. The next one is a piece of tech. Any piece of tech, real or fantasy. It doesn't have to be real, it could be fantasy. Keep in mind, this ain't the real world. This is just a scenario, right?
Yeah.
A Halloween special. Then the third one is someone who exists in the real world. A real person, a real thing, a real piece of something that is real in the world.
Yeah, we have an option to pick one of them or all of them.
Yeah, we could pick all 3 or we could just use one.
Although there is one exception, one rule. When it comes to the picking of a fictional character, we can only pick that fictional character only once.
Well, with anything that we pick in any of the categories, once we use it once, that is it. It is no longer an option.
Yes. Now, where was I? Oh, yes. As for me, it's quite simple. I've technically prepared for something similar like this. So, for me, I'll just be in my underground bunker, deep beneath the earth. Surprisingly enough, I have solar generators. The fact that the sun will be bursting out this much energy means I would never have to worry about power. I'll be able to use my technology down here, save some people from across the world, and just create a new society. Yes, I'll have to expand my bunker, but it can be done. Yes, that's what I would do, boys and girls. You
Peeps.
see, you're not a mad scientist like myself without an underground bunker.
Well, Peeps, here's the interesting thing of why I laughed. Is my plan was to utilize my brother's bunkers for my own survival. But him being part of it would be a partnership of brothers working together to save the world, saving the universe from this. And I'll be by his side, saving the world. And this is one of the few times where this would ever actually happen, because it would be my strategy. My brother's continuity of StuCorp has been multiple years. As long as I've done YouTube, and even long before that, StuCorp's been around. My YouTube's been around for 8 years. So, StuCorp has an illuminancy. He is like essentially the Black Lex Luthor, combined with multiple other characters. It's like Lex Luthor did a fusion with Darkseid instead of Brainiac.
Something like that. And the only other difference is, unlike Luthor, I don't suffer from an ego problem.
So this one would not be like me utilizing my brother or his corporation. I'll just be utilizing the lore of StuCorp to protect myself and keep me safe. So we would both survive that. Surprisingly, because of how great your lore of your continuity is, right?
Well, I always try to make things as detailed as possible, so there's no confusion. And now,
Let's go to
on to the
numbers.
next one. What did you think of that one, boys and girls?
It was interesting, wasn't it? But right now we're talking about Ultraman and the Kaiju universe, period. Now, bro, you're more familiar with this universe than me, although I am a fan, but I'm a fan from a different era. You're a fan who started off around my era, but then you have evolved because you kept up with it, correct?
Well, yes. For those who don't know, I'll explain it as simple as I can. But the easiest way, luckily, Ultraman, at least the new animated series, is on Netflix. So if you want to check that out, go ahead. For those who really want to watch it. But it's only one version of it. There's multiple versions. The main version we're talking about is the old original one. Yeah. The whole idea of kaijus is essentially giant creatures, mostly aliens, from space, come to Earth. Some are actually from Earth. They just are awakened.
From Monster Island, in most cases.
And they just simply destroy everything. Most of them just do it out of pure instinct. Yes. Now keep in mind, these are, when I say big, I mean these are creatures bigger than most buildings. And if you're wondering, no. Most of the time, most modern weapons
are useless against them completely.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of seeing a friggin' flies. If you see these kaijus, like, it's funny. You see these guys in their little fighter jets. They have the latest jets, the fastest engines, the greatest missiles. Then, when they go, they're as useless as a water gun.
They're hyped up the entire movie. But when it comes time for action, they're just a little flea on the side of Godzilla. Godzilla!
No, it's, oh my god, it's Godzilla!
At least when I said it, it sounded like Godzilla, my brother.
Now, how to survive a situation like that, boys and girls? Luckily, we're not fighting Ultraman. We're just fighting the kaijus themselves.
Yeah, we're in the Ultraman universe. If it was Ultraman, that'd be a whole other thing, and we would have to go deep into Power Ranger lore and a few other type of things lore to take on Ultraman. But no, it's just the kaiju, our issue. It's, if you keep in mind, even things as simple as Superhuman Samurai,
Cyber Squad.
it would be enough. But brother, you go ahead and make your pick.
Well, for this, it's very simple. I would need an item. Luckily, I possess said item. It's not necessary technology, boys and girls. It's an artifact. The Ring of Dominance. With this ring, I don't have it on me right now, but one day I'll show it to you, boys and girls. I'm able to dominate and enslave most beings. So, I just end up enslaving all the kaiju. Now, why would I enslave them? I would need them for something. Yes, you see, there are other threats besides kaijus out there in the universe. So I'll use them as my vanguard to defend the planet. That's what I would do, boys and girls. Now, you're probably wondering, how do I have such an item? Let's just say I make it a point to find specific items like this and keep it under my protection watch. Can't have things like that out in the world. Yeah, Ted.
Well, here's the thing. The concept of the kaiju, and I'm sorry, guys, I usually say it before I let him go and talk about how he's going to deal with it, but the concept of the kaiju, these are creatures coming out, and they're like Power Rangers and shows like that, bad guys, the villain of the week, but with less personality, less strength. They're just generic. They're like essentially like Power Ranger villains, but has that basic kind of theme. I would use the VR Troopers team. As my utilization, as my technology, and I would make myself be the leader as my technology. And the real person that I would bring in with me would be my brother, to be the other male member of that team. And we would destroy all the kaiju for game and just be laughing about it because how easy it was. So peeps, we're going to go to number 8. wow. Devilman.
This is, I know for some of you boys and girls, it's a very sensitive topic. Because even if you never heard of the show, the whole idea of hearing the word devil in anything is very upsetting for a lot of you boys and girls. And for that, I apologize deeply. Now, clarify, the show Devilman is a show, this universe, there are demons everywhere. They attack and feed on humans constantly. Now, two friends, I believe they're high school students, that's usually how these shows are, it's always high school students, I never understood that. Anyway, these two high school students decide they want to stop these demons, but they know that modern weapons can harm them. So, they do the next best thing, or next worst thing, depending on your point of view. They want to get demon powers. Now, how do they go about doing that? The one friend happens to be rich, and he buys a nightclub. And he performs a ceremony to summon demons to possess them and the bodies of everyone there. It technically works. One friend, not the rich one, gets powers and starts to use it to fight other demons. That's essentially the small gist of it. But if you want to know more, luckily, again, the Devilman show, it's an anime, is also on Netflix. Netflix has a lot of good things if you have an open mind. So you can check it out if you want. But that's only if you're comfortable watching a show like that. And I should warn you now, boys and girls, this is what I would call a very, very dark anime. If you do not have a mature mind and are not over the age of 18, please do not watch this. Some of you might get scarred from it if you're not mature enough and old enough. Keep that in mind, boys and girls.
Now, peeps, let me tell you guys a bit about Devilman. Now, I'm not familiar with the latest incarnation that is on Netflix. I'm actually a fan of the original incarnation. I watched it in my youth. I actually rented from Blockbuster once because my older brothers. I won't even get into details, but we got there and we rented this, and it's envisioning a savage character who's a badass. But the thing is, we rented like episode 8 deep. Then we went back and we saw the subtle thing of where my brother brought in the details of the story of Devilman and what makes him, what motivates him. It's a drag because he starts off just as regular and this is just kind of thrust on him, but then he kind of just like goes with it, does he not?
It's not that he was forced or he goes with it. Keep in mind, the spirit and soul of a demon is in his body. You see, when he's not in his demon form, he gets horrific nightmares. It's not something that he can escape.
No, it's part of him. This is true. But it's just like, he kind of gives it a certain amount of embracing it to a point, does he not?
Well, he's kind of forced to, because if he doesn't, he will go insane.
Now, with the Devilman character, fortunately, we don't have to deal with him, but we got to deal with the things he has to deal with. And there's that infamous bird character whose claws who rip off his arm. Well, in the one I know, I don't know if it does it in the one that happened in the modern one.
Well, technically she is in it as well. But I won't say any names or give any more spoilers. For those who do want to watch it, remember, you must be 18 and older and have a mature mind to watch this, boys and girls. If you're going to watch it on Netflix.
Now, in the Devilman world, how are you surviving and what characters are you going to be?
Well, it's quite simple. Most people would say the cliche thing, oh, they're demons. You get holy light or an angel or something. No. Just no. That's not how you fight these kind of creatures. No. For me, the only way to fight a demon is with a more powerful demon. And that's why I'm going to use a character from one of my favorite shows, Inuyasha, specifically Shishomaru.
Lord Susumaru. Inuyasha's older brother, for you who don't know.
My favorite character in Inuyasha.
One of mine too. Although I connect with Inuyasha more than he did.
Yes. He would be the ideal choice for me. Because not
Yeah, that
only
would
is
be
he-
us as brothers. Only if you were actually the older brother. That makes sense.
I am the older brother.
Well, in the fake continuity, yes. Not a real one.
But yes, that would be my choice, boys and girls. And if those are wondering, sadly, I don't believe all of Inuyasha is on Netflix. I think only the first 2 seasons are on Netflix, and I think 2 of the movies. But if you've never seen or heard of it, I would highly recommend to check it out. You'll like it. It's a really good one. And once you see who Lord Shishomaru is, you'll see why he's my favorite character in the whole franchise. Well, that's my choice.
Well, for this type of universe, the Devilman universe, it is a very scary one. Now, the simple fact of the matter, living in that type of universe, I'm just going to want to find somewhere safe and nice to live, and I'm going to want protection. Now, the most thing that's going to work for me is to utilize the T-9000 Terminator units, an entire army of them, just go the technology route, and have it protect a safe place for me to be. Considering what they are the T-1000s. So even as they get killed, their pieces will connect and create new ones. Having an entire army of them will keep me safe from anything who tries to get to me, and I'll be safe where I am.
An odd choice, using machines, although I suppose it could work in theory since there's nothing like that in the franchise. So,
And the fact of the matter is, like, the liquid metal, so the pieces will connect with other pieces and create new ones when they're done.
and I suppose since they're machines, it's not like they can be possessed, although you need to be careful. I know there are some demons that can possess machines and objects too.
They're not machines, they're liquid metal.
No, what do you mean? They are machines. Just because they're liquid metal, that's just an added feature. Because they're still machines.
Unfortunately, as of right now, it's not something we have to deal with. But peeps, now we're gonna get to one of the serious ones. Peeps, throw it with me, bro. We're at number 9. Throw it with me. Let's go to the next one.
What did you think of this one?
Marvel Zombies.
This is a tough one. For those who are huge fans of Marvel, like we are, you know how terrifying this would be. All the heroes in Marvel as zombies. That's the simplest and quickest way to explain this.
And the simple fact of the matter is the villains who are saving you, like Magneto and Doctor Strange, but it's only in the central parts of the, like, New York and all the main parts of the States. So unless you're in those points, you're kind of fucked. You're kind of left to fend for yourself. And the thing is, with the Marvel zombies, unlike other zombies, they maintain their powers and their consciences. If you have any kind of powers, you maintain your consciousness. You don't become a mindless zombie. Regular people, we become mindless zombies in return.
So, this one puts me in a tough situation, boys and girls. How to deal with the entire Marvel universe as zombies. I thought long and hard, and I came up with only one solution. Yes, the only one that makes sense to me. Yes. I would have to summon Dr. Manhattan. the Watchmen. He is the only being that I can think of that'd be able to wipe out all the characters from Marvel, even in their zombie form, and keep me safe. Since his powers are on a different level and plane, it'd be simple. In fact, but most people don't know, and some people get pissed off when they find out about this, but this is true, boys and girls. You can even look it up if you want. But Dr. Manhattan is one of the few beings out there in the comic universe that is, let me say this key word, is stronger than Superman and has greater abilities than Superman. Because the huge difference is, Dr. Manhattan is technically a god, while Superman is only an alien. So yes, that would be my choice, boys and girls. Your choice now?
In this type of scenario, it would be a matter of two things, because it's something that's going to be happening in real life. Any zombie apocalypse is like, when it happens, it's in a moment where everywhere in the world is being affected. So there is two things that I'm going to need. I'm going to need a way to teleport. A teleportation device. So my point in the beginning is to take one of Rick and Morty's portal guns. For myself to be able to teleport. Then from there, I'm going to go to Dr. Fate. Who will have the ability to be able to transcend me to another universe where the virus is not. And then he's going to be able to look at the 52 different universes and the DC 52 and bring me to one where this zombie outbreak does not affect. So it's
Interesting choice. Using one universe's technology and another one's character. It falls within the rules, so it's fine.
And peeps, that brings us to number 10.
The final one. What is it, you might wonder?
Let's throw the two together. Mortal Kombat!
Yes. You weren't expecting to see a video game, let alone this kind of video game.
Of course.
In fact, fun fact, boys and girls, what most people don't know, it's because of Mortal Kombat why most video games now have the rated M. Yeah, it was Mortal Kombat that started that during the 90s. Now you know why each video game has a certain rating for age. How many games could say that they changed the industry like that?
Now, Mortal Kombat is a story that has transcended actual multiple decades, and eras, and multiple generations of systems. But ultimately, what it's coming down to is the war of all realms, the tournament to decide, the Mortal Kombat tournament, to decide which realm would have control of them all. Now, in the movie continuity, I believe it was you had to win, each realm had to win 10 victories, and that's how it was in the game, was it not, Dr. Cole?
Yes.
They had to win 10 wins, 10 Mortal Kombat victories in a row to win.
Now, what do they win? That realm wins the right to invade and enslave the other realm.
Or just to survive. Technically, only one realm out of all the realms, the Nether realm, was the only one who wanted to invade. The other realms just essentially wanted to survive and live, right?
Oh, that's not entirely true. The other realm that wanted to invade everyone was the Chaos realm.
Oh yeah! Which Mortal Kombat was that from?
That was for Mortal Kombat Deception. Then there's the Nether realm. You see, remember, you didn't play all the games. I did.
He did. I did. Our
Plus-
party's a lot.
The newest Mortal Kombat game is technically another fresh reboot, so the story and characters have changed again. So we may end up doing Mortal Kombat again, maybe for something else.
Yeah, because we haven't played the new one. And guess what? On Friday, we're going to have the new one. Next week, Friday, we will have the new one.
And
For
now,
his Christmas present, for me. Early Christmas present, because I'm a good older brother.
and now, boys and girls, how to go about surviving the tournaments of Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat!
I had to think long and hard for this one, boys and girls. And for me, I'll be using another item. Oddly enough, from Mortal Kombat. Yes, this is what you call reuse and recycle, because I'm a genius. I'm gonna use the Hourglass of Time. In space, in the Mortal Kombat universe, the same device that Chronica, the Titan of Time, uses. With this, I can control the aspects of everything Mortal Kombat, essentially turning myself into a Titan. That's right, boys and girls. I'm essentially going to use the thing that you get, that you win essentially in the last Mortal Kombat game. There are other powerful items in the Mortal Kombat universe, like the Amulet of Shinnok. But there's only one downside of using that. Because it's the Amulet of Shinnok, it will give you power, but it will eventually corrupt you and make you go crazy. So that's why I didn't pick it. There are other powerful items as well, but if I was to list them all, then we'd be here all night. So I was only going to talk about the two main ones, which was that. The Hourglass of Sand and Time, and Shinnok's Amulet.
Alright, that's actually a really good answer. That is actually quite, and it makes sense because it's like attends into the lore. Mortal Kombat is his game. He's the Mortal Kombat guy. I'm the Street Fighter guy. But here's the thing. I'm going to actually jump to something that he did the last time, which is actually the cheapest answer of any answer in anywhere. I'm going to use Dr. Manhattan. And I'm going to use him in a way as he's just going to be my heavy. So anyone who gets in my way during the Mortal Kombat tournament, he's just going to turn them into dust. Like Mr. Dr. Manhattan, what does he do? He just like
He literally just puts up his hand, and people tend to just,
disappear.
die.
Yeah. So Dr. Manhattan being my heavy, I'm going to win the Mortal Kombat tournament. And I'm going to win it every year going forward. Even after to a point where I could just put an emissary doing it. So if Dr. Manhattan by my side, I'm untouchable in the Mortal Kombat universe. Mic drop, bitches.
It's the simplest and easiest way, I suppose. Because even though there are also deities and gods, the only ones that would be able to fight Dr. Manhattan are the ones who are actually not taking part
Exactly.
in the tournament.
And by the time they do, Dr. Manhattan would know how to deal with them.
Yeah, although that'd be a long and interesting fight.
It would be. It would be. So, Dr. Clone, what has you thought of this top 10 list?
It was quite interesting. Now you see, boys and girls, how we would handle all these situations. If you like this sort of thing, seeing how we would survive and who we would call or what we would use in such scenarios, let us know in the comments below so we could perform and make more of these kind of videos.
Yeah, exactly, peeps. Let us know, because, like, we got to do an episode next week, and then the last week is going to be me and my co-host for the Halloween special. So, let us know, what should me and Dr. Clone do? Do you want to throw back to this? Do you want to throw? What kind of topic do you want? The month of Halloween. This is Halloween. This is. You're not gonna say anything?
No.
All right, peeps. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Thank you so much for your support for the channels for both of us. We've had a pretty good run, and it's like your subscribers have gotten to a decent number, haven't they not?
Yes, but let's not discuss numbers.
But it's just like we have both really appreciated and have loved you guys' continued love and support of us. I know some people stick around, some people don't. For those of you that are still here, we have all the love in the world for you. We're going to end this the only way we know how to. And I'm going to start off with me doing it and then give my brother the end. Thank you, peeps. Stay good and keep it.
Yes. Now we'll end it the same way how we always end it here, boys and girls. But before that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me, Dr. Clone, Stu Corp on YouTube. And don't forget, this is Halloween month. So I want you boys and girls to be safe out there. The last thing I want is for anything bad to happen to my lovely followers from Stu Corp. Because remember, Dr. Clone loves and cares about all of you. But now, never forget, you too could be a member of Stu Corp. Because everyone wants to be a member, don't they? See you soon. And now, I need to decide. Do I want to get candy from Walmart or Shoppers? Because I don't have the option to go trick-or-treating anymore. So now I gotta go buy my own candy.